So, on this American Kabbalah Network, I'm calling it that because, hey, this is America, it's Kabbalah, and we're on the air. I mean, recording at any rate. So, if you have a better idea or you don't like it, let me know. We're Shaar Tanta. We're on page Yud Beit, and we're going to start number test now. I think that's the one that started. I'm really in a foreign location. I'm in my new house. God willing, it's going to be ready. It is 99% ready, but we haven't moved in. And hopefully I'll get more settled because I'm moving around a lot. So number test says, now we were describing what Ak looks like. So he says he's giving you, it's an amazing thing. He's giving you a view of something that looks like a person, an idea of a person, but while you're looking at it, they're actually looking at it in a deeper sense because we're all connected to the Most High. We're also looking at the Most High. So he said, now he's going to go through a fast, short version of what it looks like from the ears of Eric Anpin going downwards. And here we're really learning fundamentals of Kabbalah here. So this we told you yesterday, how you got the name Sag. Yud Vav Daled, Ke Yud, Vav Vav, Ke Yud. I'm going to use this over and over again. So it's not a wonder that I know it. Okay, so you're going to see it over and over again. We also said that it has a tanta within it. So now let's talk about tamim. You know tamim. You know nekudos. Tamim are the musical sounds of the Torah, as we read the Torah. Because both. For example, in the Os, he's going to bring it, he's going to say it, let me not repeat what he's about to say. There are also tamim nekudos that come down below the letter. And some of them that are in the middle of the letter. So why is he telling us this? And how is it that this is an aperture, so to speak, to shining the radiance of the Eibishter down to us? Let's look at the light print on number test. And it looks like number Yud is in here also. So we'll do these two. So he says, so we already said at the very top of the skull of Ak, Shuhu Shem Av Ein Medavrim Bo Klau. We don't speak about it at all. We're going to have some allusions to it, but really don't speak about it. But when you start to talk about the ears of Ak, the Tibur Mivayar Harab Bekitzer Nimros. Now, between the ears of here, down to your belly button, down to, that is the belly button of Ak, so to speak, that we're going to go for a running, fast version of this to try to explain what's going on. Min the Tibur Lamata, so when you go from the belly button and you go down, Mivayar Harab Ba'arichos, there he's going to start getting into a lot more detail, because that's where the action is for the Tibur. This is called for the Tibur Ulamata. So this is a general name Av. So it's Ak min haraznaim alamat, the maskil shem Sag kolel. So the general name Sag, as we said before, both Av and Sag have Av and Sag have Asmab within them, and also Tanta. But pratos nikroim shem Av the Sag. Now the top part of the ears, that is, the ears themselves, which are on the top of the head of Ak, let's say, but that's the best way to say it, are called the Av of Sag, because remember, Sag has an Asma, because Av, Sag, Ma, Ben within it. So now we're going to be using this as geographic locations to try to understand what the head of Ak is doing and where it is. Shari Shem Sag Atzmo, Nechlach Arba Shemos Asmab. So we call this Asma. So also because Sag goes along with the Nekudos, so it's called the Tamim, which is the top part of the Nekudos. Next one, number Yud. He says, "V'amnam kavar bir harab bechinas aznaim he tamim v'nekudos." So we've already said that the concept, the Rav has already said that the aspect which we call the ears refers to tamim and nekudos. But they themselves, the tamim and nekudos themselves, mitzchalkim bepratos the shloshos. Now, so the ears goes along with tamim and nekudos. It goes along with the name Av and the name Sag, or actually Sag, it's the Av, the Sag. So that's how the language goes. It can be divided into three areas. Shahar Yeshnam Tamim v'Nekudos Elyonim, Shehim Ma'ala Osios, so there are Tamim and Nekudos that appear above the letters, as you said, for example, in any Sefer. Kagon HaTamim and Nekroim Pashta, Zarko, Revi'i, so all of those, for example. Over Nekudas, Nekudas Acholim. The Cholim, as we know, goes up above. Me'ala Osios, V'chayeshtan Tamim, V'Nekudos, Shehim Ba'emsa Osios. So they have the same thing. Those are at the top of the letters. But you also have Tamim and Nekudos, which are in the middle of the letters. On the Tamim, Psak, Makaf. So there's these two, the Makif and the Psak. That's in the Tamim. They're in the middle of the letters. And the Nekudas, Hu Malafum, which is the dot, because we call it the short Vav. Shuchun Nekudas be'emsa ha'os, Kazan, he shows us a picture here of the short Vav. V'yesh tamim v'nekudas shehem tachas ha'osis, but there also these appear below the letters as well. Egon, Dargo, Tavir, Nekudas Kamatz, Patach, Segol, all of those, most of the Nekudas are down below the letters, and like that. So now we're on page Yud Gimel. We're just moving along just splendidly, and we'll read the top and see what goes on. So he said, "V'hinei or hapanimi shebetov zeha adam." So there is a light inside of him, which we understood before is the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So this light that's in the panemius of Adam Kadmon, yatzel l'chutz derek kol l'nekovim and niskarim lamala. So we said that there were ears and there were eyes, there's nostrils and there's a mouth. All of these different openings, the light that's inside of Eric Anpin comes out through them. V'hinei ha'hevel l'yotzim min harosh. So there is a certain vapor that comes out from the head. Derek nikveras aro shalo, that come out from openings in his hairs, because the hair follicles themselves. Some places in the Otzrot Chaim it goes into detail about what they look like or how they're working. Kavar amarnu le'el, but we've already said here she'ein anu rushayim klal lehasasek bo. So the follicles of the hair, so there's openings, the pores that the hairs come out from, and the hairs themselves. The hairs themselves are hollow on the inside. There's light that comes out of it, the light of the Ein Sof. But we don't deal with it, because it doesn't have that much shaykhus to us. So if you see what he said previously, he said, well, we're going to go pretty fast, and we're going to describe Adam Kadmon, the upper half of Adam Kadmon. I'm going to work on that pretty quickly. We're going to go through it. We're going to tell you some really important things about it. But where we're really going to concentrate is in the area that's from the tibur, which is the belly button, down the lamala, because that's where we come in. That's where we're from. So he says, he's going to say this, so let me let him say it. So he says that there is a certain amount of vapor that comes out of the ears, and that is in reference to the name Sag. So through the path of the opening of the ears, Shabo Yotze or Pnimius, from the opening in the ears, there is a light in Adam Kadmon that comes out through the ears. Pnimius Adam Kadmon Azeh, Upashodu Kibitzesa Lachutz, whom is Avakitzas. Now it's a simple fact that as it gets further away from its source, because it now had to come through Adam Kadmon and through his ears, it's going to thicken a little bit. This, of course, is that we're going to see this throughout Kabbalah, is that you have to thicken the light. Because if not, there's nothing going to exist besides it. Everything go back to be Ein Sof again. The light that's still inside of Adam Kadmon, who Yoser Golem is is going to be much greater, much brighter, much more nothing than the light that comes out. Because it comes out, it becomes more physical. But the truth is, for sure, that the light now that is coming out of Adam Kadmon, who Yoser Golem bebechinas hakelim v'haguv shal Adam Kadmon azeh. So this is a postulate, and this is a fact that you want to see. You have lights coming out from the Ein Sof Baruch Hu through his ears. So he said, well, that light, the light that comes out is a more dense, a more lower level of light than the light that's inside. But on the other hand, that light, which is pure light, is going to be greater than something called kalim, which we haven't really discussed yet, but kalim, and also the body of Adam Kadmon, which is thicker. Shall Adam Kadmon v'zeh pashut, and this should be simple to understand as well. So light is thicker than vessels. Light is more refined and more closer to pure godliness than the goof or any kalim that light would go into. Now we haven't discussed how kalim are made, and we haven't really discussed the rest of the body either. But that's a fact that Rav wants to tell you. So let's look at number Yud Aleph over here in the light print. So he says, Ata Arav Shah B'Kitzara Al Amor La'el. Now he's coming back, in a short version, what he said before. V'usha ha'or ha'benimi shebetoch ach ha'nikra chut ein sof. Going all the way back, the light that's inside of the ach is called the thread of the ein sof. The esher lahasigu klal. It's impossible to have any appreciation at all, to reach it, to have any look at it, anything at all. Kasher hu yotze derek hamasach ha'nikra ach. You can, when it starts to come out of Ak, so through the hairs, and there are places where we will discuss the hairs of these different spiritual entities. But over here we're saying that it's impossible to discuss this. Because they're really like tubes. And they have a very, very tiny, very, very refined, what's the right word? He says a very narrow, thin tube in it that is hollow. And from through these hair follicles, these hairs, which are hollow on the inside but very, very small, comes a certain amount of light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. But when we come and we talk about this, we have no rishus, and we're talking about Adam Kadmon to talk about this at all. And I think we misspoke recently, just a few minutes ago, and I was saying that there are places that discuss it. No, that's not right. They don't discuss it. What they decide, what is discussed, are the hairs on the top of the head of Eric Anpin or Vatek Yomim. Atik Yomim would be even more difficult than Eric Anpin. There you do have some analysis of those hairs. Because it is the highest possible place at the top of the skull of Ak. This is the area which we call the Ava Kalali. Now again, for those of you who really want to blow your mind and bend your mind out, and remember when he says Ava Kalali, he's talking about letters, the combinations of the name Havaya, which is Yud Vav Dalet, Ke Yud Vav Yud Vav Ke Yud. That combination of letters is what he's talking about, is actually making up the head of this Ak. So to try to figure that one out and what it could possibly mean, we don't have rishus to talk. So what do we in fact have permission to speak about? Where we can start talking about this is only in the level of the ears going downwards. So you see, just like your body, just like my body, is you have ears, and you're going to have a nose that's privileged. You have eyes, which are sort of like on the same level as the top of your ears. So you have a mouth, and then you have your whole body, all the way down to your feet, to the bottom of your feet. All of that can be talked about. We can talk about anything that we want to talk about, that is, that the Rav wants to teach us about, from the ears to the mata. Now we're going to start talking about the lights that are going to come out of this Ak. Again, Av the Sag means the highest part of Sag. So if you start thinking about it, he's going to go into this. So be prepared that he's going to want to talk about the Av the Sag, which are the ears, and he's going to talk about the Sag the Sag. Okay, there's going to be some lights that are going to come out of the eyes, and he's going to talk about the Ma the Sag. You want to talk about the Ben the Sag. So all of this is part of the language and the appreciation that we're going to have, and take it light like a song. So just take it the way that it comes. Number Yud Beis in the light print. So this is the light that's in the Panemius of Ak. Kihu min ha'or ein sof, because that light, which is on the inside, we can't reach it, appreciate anything with it, because it's actually ein sof. Ak ha'or ha'yotze l'chutz derek nikvei haznayim, but the lights that are coming out through the ears, niten lahasigo, that is given over to something that we can appreciate and that we can understand. Kevan shebitziyasu derek haguf da'ak, because as it goes out through the body of Ak, so then the body, or that is the ears themselves, become like a filter. The masach uses this word a lot. So the masach is a filter, a screen. So what happens is that anything runs through a filter, a screen. Well, it does get through from the other side, but it's not the same. It's more dim. For oz ha'or mis'ave katsas, the light gets thicker. Now, what he's saying is that to think about like this, thick, and then you get thinner than that, and thinner than that, and thinner than that. If you get thin enough, there's nothing there. And that's the pattern we want to understand, is that the Ein Sof is not a physical form. There's nothing physical, and that's why when we use the word Ein Sof, it doesn't mean anything. So he said, now let's go on to number Yud Gimel. Aval pashutu shahahevel v'ha'or ha'yotze l'chutz derek nikvi ha'guf da'ak. So it's very simple. If you have the guf of Ak also has all of this light in it, and if you have anything that comes out of the openings of the body themselves, could go ha'or ha'yotze min ha'chaznayim ha'chotem ha'peh v'ranayim hu yoser godol me'etzem ha'guf shuhu ha'kli da'ak. I think I translated slightly wrong there, but the basic idea is that whatever light is coming out of these openings that are in the head of Ak, they're going to be a much thinner light, a much more refined light than anything that we see that's coming out of the body of Ak. Which is the vessel, the basic vessel of Ak. So we have lights, and we're going to discuss that there is light that come out of the body of Ak as well. There are pores in your body, and there's a certain amount of light that comes out of it. You have a belly button, a certain amount of light came there. You have a piya'ama, a certain amount of light that comes out of there. So wherever there is openings, we're going to discuss it to some extent. So just like we see that there's a certain amount of vapor, we could say maybe it's heat vapor or something like that, that comes out of all the openings in our body. They are much, obviously, whatever is coming out of your mouth. So I'm speaking now. So the hevel that's coming out of here, I'm breathing now. Okay, we're going to see that the lights, you put your finger in your ear, I think he's going to say this. You can hear vapor coming out through your ears. That light is going to be much more refined than anything that's just coming out of the pores of your body. They're much more refined than the body of Ak himself. As we saw in the ball, where the line is protruding, is going down. And the Rav said that as the line is moving down, and it's getting further away from its source in the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, where it entered into this physical dimension called the Chalal, as it gets further away from where it enters, it gets weaker. So this is the same kind of concept here about the top of the head. The ears, which is the only place we could start to talk about, because imagine me, if you're looking at me, that my head is just from the ears up, is just so bright that it's even impossible to be able to have any consciousness of what it is, or what it looks like, or anything about it. And if you were ever enter into it, you would disappear, because that's the nature of that nothing light. But as you get further away from the source of the light, let's say it's metaphorically, it's coming into the top of the head of Ak, it's at the highest level of the head of Ak. So as you get further away from that, light is dimmer. So let me see if I can find my place. That's where I think I stopped last time. Because here the word nishma, which we see a lot, neshama, it really means a panemius. It's coming from the inside below mahakli shalo. It's not coming from the physical element that's holding the light. It's coming from the light itself. What is the body of Ak? So the body itself, which is also radiated, because what Ak is only some kind of a radiance. It's not something physical. So this radiance itself is radiating, but it's not the same level of radiation that you're going to get from what's inside, because what's inside is the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu. So it's like a guf adam atachtom hamalvish the neshama, like our bodies cover over neshamas. We want to be able to understand this metaphor. So the body, the light that comes out from our bodies, is like the light of some aspect of the neshama itself. But whatever is coming out from the inside and being manifest outside of us through this is going to be greater than the physicality of the body itself. So now we see now, going over this, that there are three different madregos, different levels in Ak himself. So one is this tremendously powerful light, which again, as I said, I like to keep pressing this button. It's a negative light. Whatever this light is, the light of the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, is a tremendously powerful light inside of Ak. Shuhu nishmas Ak. It is as Kavayachal to say this, the neshama of Ak. V'hu or chuta Ein Sof. It is the light of the thread of the Ein Sof. Amislavish b'toch guf of the Ak, k'neshama toch a guf. It's inside of the guf of Ak, like a neshama inside of your body. V'zeh v'or and nanu musag klal. This light is not appreciable at all. We cannot appreciate it. We cannot reach it. We cannot understand it. There's no way for us to work with it. Now that's the first level. So then there's another element, which are lights that are coming out of the openings in the head of Ak. There's other places too. Now that light, we have an ability to be able to have some hold on it, some appreciation of it. Why? Because the light is dimmer. So it's like looking at the sun, you can't look at it, but if you looked at it, to the side, you could see some light. So now there's a third level. He says this third level is a level that's in between the light of the Ein Sof, which is on the inside, and the light that goes out. What is that? That's the guf, that's the body itself. Sha'al yada mis'avach ha'or ha'panimi b'yitziyaso l'chutz v'chanikra kli b'yachas la'oros ak, and it's called the vessel, or kli, if you look at it in relationship to the light that's inside. So let's see if we could do a little bit more, because I'm very anxious to have people to discuss this with. And I know that as we get into this more, we'll be able to have a hold a little bit on the ideas that the Rav wants to tell us. They are extremely, extremely comprehensive. Not only are they comprehensive, they cover all of reality, but they also run extremely deep. And we have now, Baruch Hashem, people who are able to follow the strings and the paths of this, and to bring us to tremendous closeness to Hashem. Let's look at Yudal. Yudal says as follows: V'hine kasher yatzach or derek nikfer aznayim yamanis to the smolis. So now we have directions. We have some concept here called right and left, because Ak is like us. So Ak has like a right ear and a left ear. This pashta ha'oros ha'ele b'bechutz mimakom ha'aznayim ad makom shivolos hazakan. So what happens is the light then spreads from the ears, starts to fall. Falls down along the face. Let me get his words exactly. They spread out from there. From the place of the ears, which is the fulcrum of the beard, which is the place where the two sides of the beard meet. Something like this. This is what I think. So how did they move? They move down across your beard. That is where the beard would be. If Ak was a person, then it would look like the place where his beard would be. They move like that, down the face, on both sides of the face. So his words are Hazakan, Hatzomech, B'Lachayim, B'Tzdadi Aponim. So this is they move down across the hairs of the beard that's on two sides of the face of Adam Kadmon. And then corresponding to the two sides, they're coming down until they reach the area underneath the chin, which he calls the fulcrum. That's what I call it, the shivolos hazakan, where the fulcrum of the beard meets up. So now we have a yichud, that is a meeting of these two lights. The lights are coming from the right ear and the light to the left ear. But it's important for him to say that, but they don't actually meet. They don't actually join together. These are two sides of lights. They come very close to each other, but don't join. But there's a small space in between the lights that are on two sides of the ear. So imagine my beard. My beard is really representing the lights that are coming out of the ears, and they're falling down to this place. Now again, we're not talking about real hairs, and we're not talking about a person. But we are actually a hologram extension of this that we're talking about now. It is panimi to us. It is a size, in my opinion, that is so infinitesimally small that we couldn't possibly understand it. As things become more and more physical, they become more and more bigger. They get bigger. So that now we're big. This is something which is an inspiration that's inside of us. Let's look at number, I think that was Yod Daled. Let's look at Yod Daled in the light print. And so he says, Kasher yatsa ha'or ha'penimi derek ozin yamin ba'ozin small. Now the light is coming out of the two ears, right and left. Look, come on, we're going to explain in detail in Yanim what they're all about. Why is it important to know that there's two separate, different kinds of lights, one from the right ear, one from the left ear? Now the light is on side. It just doesn't go out into outer space, but instead starts falling down the face. So and they shine from the place of the ears, going downwards, until they reach the fulcrum of the beard. So this is a place like a hole that's underneath the mouth. Now I'm not sure if he means here or if he means down here. I don't have an answer, but at any rate, I think it's down below the chin, or I have a dimple in my chin, even though you can't see it. But there's something like that. Something down below the mouth. So as they go out of the ears and they're starting to go down, so they're going and they're surrounding the face. So there's like a beard that's on the two sides of the face. So they meet, they join together, he says, and I just said up above, the Rav said that they don't join together, so you have to hear this. So he says they come down until a place where they meet, at the bottom of the beard. That doesn't mean the bottom of the hairs of the beard, he means the bottom of the face. The Heilichen is karbuzel is that. Now he doesn't mean they meet. They come near to each other. Aklon is karbo b'chibur shalom, but they don't mamash make a yichud. Now, if you're listening to the story about the daughter of the emperor and the son of the king, then you see that the meeting here is a very important idea. But they come really close to meeting, but they don't. So later, at the end of this parak, we're going to explain the reason for this. What does it actually mean when lights join together? I think we're out of time for today. And let me see one little thing. Okay, we'll stop here because we have a paragraph in the Tiv. I think this will be a good place to stop. And we'll stop on number Tes Vav. And we'll do that next time. All the best. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to do something in the Idri Rabbah, and we'll be able to continue on with Rebbe Shimon and his story. Thanks for listening.